Hello and welcome to Sodanonymous. I'm your host, Sodanonymous. Today's episode, I'm going to talk about Diet Coke with Splenda. Alright, well I've got some notes written up here, so let's go over that real quick. Diet Coke with Splenda was introduced in 2005 as an alternative to the classic Diet Coke. The move was pushed for by the retailer Walmart, who noticed the extreme uptick in Splenda sales around that time. The variant sold much worse than expected and is now a regional product, with most stores having dropped the sale of it. Normal Diet Coke is sweetened with aspartame, a sweetener with a bad reputation and contentious research surrounding its health impacts. Diet Coke with Splenda is sweetened by sucralose and acesulfame potassium, or ACE-K for short. Splenda in general has a slightly better reputation in health circles, with only one study showing any negative impact, and the study is typically criticized for poor methodology. All right, well, with that out of the way, let's get on with the review. I should say this is going to be a blind tasting. I've never had Diet Coke with Splenda before. I've seen it on shelves. I always assumed it was a variant available everywhere. I only found out recently that it's more of a regional thing, so it's kind of rare to have it by you, but there you go. In terms of my experience with Splenda, I used to drink a lot of coffee, especially when I was younger, and I remember I would always use real sugar. I didn't really like Equal or Sweet and Low when I was younger. I would use Sweet and Low if I had to, but Equal especially I thought was just nasty. But when Splenda came out, I found myself reaching for it a lot more, and it was a big deal when it came out. It was just the pinks and the blues was really what it was, and the whites for sugar, and when the yellows came around, Splenda, that kind of changed the game. There was a time where I worked at a place where I would have handled the different artificial sweeteners on a regular basis, and Splenda was definitely the most requested one at the time. So yeah, it makes sense, especially because there was a lot of scares about aspartame at the time, that they would try and go for Splenda. I think it's interesting that Walmart was able to bully Coke into making this, but here it is, proof of their efforts. From what I understand, Diet Coke with Splenda came out right at the same time that Coca-Cola was trying to market Coke Zero for the first time, and that's the reason why they really let this go sort of quietly into the wind without much fuss, because they didn't aggressively market this. They really wanted to get Zero off the ground. Personally, this is a blind tasting, but personally, I'm not extremely excited for this. I don't like Diet Coke. I have a feeling that Diet Coke with Splenda is either going to be slightly better than regular Diet Coke, or it's going to be significantly worse, and I'm not sure which. I don't really know the general opinion about this, so yeah, I'm just going to have to crack it open and see. All right, well, first things first, I'm going to crack this open, and we're going to get a smell test here. That's a good sound. All right, Diet Coke with Splenda. I've seen it on the shelves, and it's just because I'm not a Diet Coke drinker. I don't know. It just sounds nasty to me, but we'll see. Who knows? Well, it smells like Diet Coke. It's got that sort of metallic smell, that I mentioned in my Diet Coke review. It's almost more like full-bodied, which is kind of interesting to me. It's a little bit less sharp, in the sweetness. The sweetness is more of like a, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but it kind of goes more naturally with the metallic, acidic smell. So it is very clearly diet, but it's less just like, ooh, chemicals, in your face. But other than lacking that sort of sickly smell, it is pretty much just Diet Coke in terms of the smell. The light caramel notes, are still there. It still has that, weak Coke flat flavor in the smell, and it's got that acidic, metallic bite that sort of pushes through predominantly. Anyway, let's give it a try here. Diet Coke with Splenda, first time going down. Huh. I don't know how I feel about this. It's definitely Diet Coke. It's definitely with Splenda. Yeah, it's bringing me back to drinking coffees with Splenda, where it's like, it's almost like real sugar on your immediate hit. My first reaction was, oh my gosh, it's Diet Coke, but it tastes like sugar. But Splenda leaves just an absolutely horrific aftertaste, especially concentrated to this degree. Yeah, oof, that is an acquired taste for sure. Luckily, I have your standard Diet Coke right here with aspartame, so we're going to compare the two. Let me take some water first. I need to sort of step back from this. I don't know if I like this better or worse. It's sort of a different poison altogether. But let's bust this one open, just for curiosity's sake here. Oh yeah, way different. This one definitely has a stronger smell. I'd say it's a slightly more pleasant smell, where it's like kind of like a burnt, chemically caramel smell, which doesn't sound great, but it smells better than just metal. Metal and gross. All right. It's Diet Coke. Wow, that's pretty bizarre. All right. Well, to articulate the difference, regular Diet Coke, it doesn't have as good of a first hit. It's kind of got like a lemony, like strong lemony taste. With the acidic sort of metallic taste along with it. Subtle notes of Coke. But the linger is definitely way better. It's not good by any means, but it's definitely way better. In terms of a first sip, Diet Coke with Splenda is way brighter. It's more enjoyable. It almost kind of tastes like Pepsi on initial hit because it's just so bright. But then it just dissipates into pretty horrendous chemical taste, and it's lingering in my mouth for an exceptionally long time. Yeah, I'm having a tough time articulating this one here. It is like night and day in terms of flavor, which is kind of funny to me. So it's almost like you can pick out the intended Diet Coke taste beneath the sweet by looking at the commonalities between them, which is kind of an interesting test. I'm going to say this is worse than regular Diet Coke. Not by much. I do think if you regularly ingest Splenda, you have it in your coffee or whatever it is you do, you might be able to look past this aftertaste, in which case this is a much brighter, tastier drink while you're drinking it. You know, while you're drinking it, it's not as good as zero. But that's like acceptable. That is like, I could drink that. But the aftertaste is just, words cannot describe. It is sickly sweet pool water, gross, just nasty. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give the win to our hometown champion, Diet Coke, which I'm not a fan of. If you've seen my review, I give this a 3 out of 10, but it surpasses its younger brother. Diet Coke with Splenda, gonna have to give you a 2. The only reason it's not a 1 is I'm not spitting it out. But I kind of want to brush my teeth after this. Like, my mouth just does not taste good. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. I don't think I could recommend this to anybody unless you're a big Splenda user. Then maybe give it a shot. But if you're a fan of Diet Coke, I think you're going to be disappointed in this anyway, because you want more of like a bitter taste. At least that's what I understand from fans of Diet Coke. They enjoy the less sweet, the more like, kind of like how people slowly get to enjoy like harder liquors or beer. It's kind of the grossness of it is the appeal. This sort of masks the gross when you drink it, so you don't even get like that enjoyable like Diet Coke experience. You know, I wouldn't say it's enjoyable, but the people who enjoy Diet Coke would say it's enjoyable. So you don't even get that experience, but you get like just the worst aftertaste imaginable. So yeah, that's a 2. I don't like it. All right. Well, have you guys ever tried Diet Coke with Splenda? Give it a shot sometime if you're curious. I wouldn't buy a whole case of it like I did, because that's going directly in the trash. Yeah. Do you have Diet Coke with Splenda where you live? Let me know down in the comments below, because I'm very curious about how this is regionally oriented. But yeah, other than that, my interest in the soda stops there. I'm never going to drink that again. Anyway, that about wraps it up for today. I'm Sodanonymous, and hope to see you next time.